Welcome back, everybody, to the Laugh Cry Club. I'm Joy.
I am Rebecca.
How is everyone doing? Right smack dab in the middle of summer, if you're listening to this episode.
Yeah.
In real
hot.
time. Is it hot? It's hot.
It's
where you are.
hot.
Texas is hot.
And you all, I don't think they're close to you, are having some serious fires or had
We're
in the last
having
month
some
in the
serious
Four Corners.
fires. Yes. I think of Utah,
Yeah.
Arizona, Colorado. We have some pretty serious fires. My parents are not too far from one of the largest wildfires in Colorado's history, which is very sad.
Yeah.
So love and prayers to the firefighters and the people who are trying to keep this under control, because it is so devastating to watch. It's so devastating to watch.
It's such a dangerous job.
Oh
It's
my
so
gosh,
dangerous.
yeah.
I don't
So-
know. Like, fire actually scares me. If you think about like certain natural disasters,
Natural
they're all kind of
disasters, yeah.
scary, but
Of
like,
course, right.
fires are wow. Mm-hmm. It's really scary.
And I just have to put a I have to put maybe this is more of a gripe on the news, because, and this is my own fault, I guess, for watching the news, but just sometimes when they show things, I'm like, people are having less and less of a filter of what they put on the news. Cause I'm like, why would you put that on the news? I don't know. It was a scene that I'm not even going to say it, cause it's like, I don't want to traumatize people, but it was just like, I don't need to see that. And it's just like, it's hard.
Yeah.
So if you're out there being a human like we are, welcome to the Laugh Cry Club. We are two licensed therapists with over 20 years of experience, sharing our wisdom from everything we've learned about how to just kind of get through this really hard life. Rebecca and I, before we hit record, were just talking about like how hard it is right now. Just like,
so hard.
it's just hard in life. Like being a human in this world is hard right now. So hopefully our voices and our expertise and knowledge will make you feel less alone. If anything, just make you feel less alone. Maybe a 1% better after you listen to this. But today we're going to talk about a topic which we can all relate to, and that is the mental health side of making mistakes. Before we get started, though, we haven't done a laugh and a cry in a while. Do you have anything off the top of your head that you wanted to share?
This is kind of a laugh. It just kind of, I think, demonstrates the state of where I'm at in my brain at my age right now. So I've been, I go to Costco like every few weeks, get some things. And then I love the Chobani yogurt drinks. I don't know if anybody else loves Chobani yogurt drinks. They're so great.
What do you like about them?
Is that it's easy. It has like 30 grams of protein in it.
Wow,
it's
that's a
like
lot.
very close to like having a protein shake.
Okay.
And so I think if I had a Chobani or a protein shake, the Chobani tastes way better, right?
Okay.
And it has like none of the chemical stuff.
Yes, because some of those protein drinks are kind of gross.
They are. I mean, there's a few that I like, but I do know like they have artificial sweetener stuff in them because that's just how they are. And so Chobani doesn't have any of that stuff. It's just like Greek yogurt. It's just like the Chobani you would eat, but it's like drinkable. So they carry them at Costco, or they did. And I've been bitching probably over the last few months, like, God bless America. Like, why don't they have the Chobani? I can't find them. It's like, and then I'm like, I'm going to go to another Costco because this one's really sucking. And I was totally writing this Costco off. And so my spouse decides to make a run to Costco the other day and is like, I'm just going to check to see if they have them. Because I'm like, I'm writing this one off, right? They're there. Comes home and says, guess what? They have Chobani and they've had it all along. And I'm like, no way. They changed the packaging.
Oh, those bastards.
I hate it. And so she was like, it's out in the fridge. So I went and looked and I'm like, oh my God. Because I kept saying, all they have. And I was like, I'm so tired of this World Cup stuff. I'm tired of, because, they have like Chobani and it has like, soccer player on it and something, because, it's like, and they made the package longer and put more in it. So I'm just like, I just saw it because it wasn't the normal box that it's in where it shows the drinks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's just like yogurt cups.
I hate that.
And the funny thing that's laugh is like, duh, that's me. That's me at this point of my age, like perimenopause brain. Like,
right.
If you change something like that, I am not going to see it.
It's totally.
It's like I oftentimes go to the fridge and I'm like, where is the so and so? And it's like, it's right in front of your face. And I'm like, no, it's not. And then somebody has to come and help me find it because it's behind maybe the milk. Because it's like, if it's not visible, I don't see it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the other thing at Costco is like every once in a while they'll change things up and they'll move things around. And my husband always makes fun of me because I like to walk the aisles at Costco. I like go through every aisle.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, why do you go through every aisle if you kind of know? I'm like, because they move things around.
They do.
And I am not the organized type of shopper that like goes with a list. I keep like a vague list in my head that I kind of know what we need.
Yeah.
So that's, again, user error. I'm sure this is part of my responsibility to like, I've never been a list person to like write things down. And so the thing that I do is I walk the aisles and the aisles tell me what I need.
Then you always end up with way more stuff than you needed.
Exactly.
Don't you?
Which is why I love shopping at Costco. So I go up and down the aisles and he's always like, why do you go up and down the aisles? Why don't you just like make a list? I'm like, because they move things around. And if I don't see it in front of me, it's not going to end up in my cart. Now that I'm saying this out loud, I'm like, I really should probably just make a list, but we can't teach an old
This
dog
is so
new
much
tricks.
about you. This will be something we'll dive into is your lack of list making because I'm actually very shocked by that.
No, I can't. I never.
I'm really surprised.
The only time I do a to-do list is for chores because I like very clean house. So like this morning, I was writing down a few things that I wanted to do this weekend, but they're just chores that I would probably do anyway. As I'm saying this more and more, I'm like, what is wrong with me?
I have so much to talk to you about this. That's a whole nother topic. Is about the lack of list making, or when do you make a list? Because I make lists when I go to the grocery store. But anyway, I got bamboozled by Costco and Chobani, and I have been like bitching about this store for the last few months that they stopped carrying my damn yogurt drink, and it was really driving me nuts. But it's been there the whole time.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. They need to stop repackaging things. It just
Don't
messes
do that.
perimenopausal women up. You cannot do this to us.
Messy. Yes. How about you? Any laughs or cries?
The only cry I have, as I was telling you before we hit record, is the puppy we're raising right now has some gastro issues, and I am so tired. I feel like I have a newborn because I'm just like getting up in the middle of the night to help them go outside and go to the bathroom. So let's just hope that resolves itself. I'm going to put energy into finding a solution. I'm going to call the vet again today and just be like, hey, can you give another suggestion because I'm tired.
Yeah, we can't keep getting up at
I'm really
3 a.m. to
I'm
go
so
out.
tired.
And he's old enough to, I mean, he's potty trained. Like, so he's not like puppy, like 8 weeks old.
No, he's 7 months old. He's
he's
very well potty
almost
trained.
an adult.
Yeah, and he's like never had an issue of going in the house, but he's just having some issues right now. So that is just one of those things where I'm like, I'm so tired. I just want sleep and like, whatever. You got to push through it. But okay, let's pivot and talk about the mental health side of making mistakes. And I'm laughing because we all make mistakes, but we are all so hard on ourselves when we make a mistake. So it's like the universal experience of being a human. But yet we all have this thing of like, if you were Rebecca, if you made a mistake, I'd be like, yeah, we all make mistakes, but you'd be beating yourself up. And the same thing for me. Yeah. Even though I know it's like a universal thing, I'd be like, oh, like I did make a mistake this week and I felt horrible and it was like kind of work related and it wasn't that big of a deal, but I just like went in a spiral. So what the heck is going on? Why do we spiral?
Yeah, that is a great question. I think it is interesting. Probably any of the listeners right now would be like, they would tell somebody else like, hey, everybody makes mistakes. It's okay. Like we validate the person, like it happens, but then they themselves probably beat themselves up about it too. So the question is like, why do these mistakes feel so big, even though they might be really minor? It's not, you didn't go out and run somebody over with your car accidentally. It was something, sounds like pretty minor. So I think the big thing is that we're social people. Humans are very social. We live in communities. With that comes like this kind of fear, this underlying fear of rejection. Like we all want to be accepted by people. We all want to be liked. If somebody ends up not liking you, I think a lot of us kind of feel like our feathers get ruffled up. It's like, why would you not like me? I'm a really awesome person. And we take it so personal because it feels like the social rejection. And I think that's what we're afraid of. Like if I make a mistake, people are going to point fingers, ridicule me, possibly reject me, and maybe even intentionally try to shame the person. Because I think we've all had experience in our lives where we've been intentionally shamed. I mean, I will say being a child growing up I was born in the mid 70s. So like growing up 80s, 90s, some of the disciplinary actions were about shame.
Totally.
Right? Well, I think this generation we carry a lot of shame.
A lot of shame. And I know I joke about this a lot, but like even growing up Catholic, it's all about shame. And like
you have so much of it. Yes.
So much of it. And, you know, like you said, the social aspect, I can't help but think about the world we live in now, which is so focused with social media. And you get feedback all the time from strangers who don't even know you. So now you're taking in feedback from people that you're like, they don't know me at all, but you still feel some type of way if someone says something negative. And it's so hard. It's like we're just set up to fail. So it's important for us as humans, like, don't feel bad for feeling bad. Like, we don't want to do the secondary emotion thing, but just to take the information that like we are wired to perceive a mistake maybe as a threat. It's threatening our social status. Our brain notices threats, but also like, how did you grow up with mistakes? How were you treated when you made a mistake? So like how you grew up is, we are very much a product of our environment. So I think about that a lot. Like I joke, you know, Catholicism had a big part of that, of like, you know, you don't sin, sinning is bad. Just in general, the confidence that I had around myself as a kid and growing up in a big Mormon town where I was the only Catholic kid, like that played a part into it, because I don't want to be seen anything other than like, I want to be friends with everyone. I want everyone to like me. I wanted to be included. So a mistake
to the party or to the thing.
Exactly. So my brain latched on to like mistakes being like, you are in the out group.
Right. Yeah. Like we're doing something wrong. So yeah, I think those are great points. So are there any mistakes that you feel like pop up for you, even though it's been years later? Have you ever had a mistake and then it like changed your behavior? Like now you do something different.
Well, of course. And I think you know, if you think about friendships, I think I'm bucketing this into friendships, work, family, partners. You know, if you're in a partnership with friendships, it's very much a trial and error. I've noticed over my lifetime, I would put myself and seek out relationships that didn't have a lot of conflict. I find that interesting because it was a safe way to be in a relationship, but I didn't have to deal with conflict. So I think that's a younger version of me where I like sought out these types of relationships that were really safe, but really easy. Didn't have to go like, you know, conflict wasn't super prevalent, which is funny because I remember a few weeks ago, we talked about this too, where I'm like, even in the podcasting world, I've played it safe. Like I haven't really pushed out of a comfort zone of trying to grow too big, because if you do, that invites a lot of criticism. And I don't know if I can handle that. So it's interesting. Like, I think we can kind of go down the rabbit hole, but just in general, think of the buckets of your life, of these relationships that you've created where, you know, now I do have relationships where I can have conflict in a productive way, where I can, you know, I have very close relationships now where I can say, you know, this really bothered me. Can we work through this? The same thing with my marriage. We can now have conversations where I don't feel like conflict is a threat. And that's, I think, something important for the listeners and all of us here to think about, is like how we perceive mistakes, period. For me, mistakes is detrimental to my ego. Like I cannot tolerate it. I can now. I noticed the pattern of like playing it safe and or avoiding conflict because I felt like I couldn't admit that there was something wrong with me. So it's an interesting thing of like, how you grow and evolve. This is not a static thing. It's something to explore. I see a lot in therapy. I know you see this too with your clients, especially in our 20s and 30s. We're very hard on ourselves with trying to be perfect. I think that has a lot to do with either how you're raised or just the culture in general, is that everyone's got to hustle, everyone's got to be perfect, and that making a mistake is just not tolerated. It has so much to do with your work culture and how mistakes are tolerated. You know, so all these things play a huge part into it. Yeah.
Yeah, because when you're at your work, you're watching, right? We're learning like what's accepted here and not. And if you work in a culture where it's like you see somebody say, "Oh yeah, my mistake, I messed that up," and then people are like, "Hey, no problem," you know, totally accepting. Like, how can we just maybe try to make sure this doesn't happen again? Because we all need to learn from it. That lets you know, like, this is a safe place. So then mistakes are okay. They're maybe even invited. And so I think if you work in a culture where you learn very quickly if it's not, so that creates a lot of anxiety for people. I really want to say, if work culture could get to a place of where mistakes happen happen, we accept them, we validate they happen, and we actually invite them.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously you
normalize
don't
it.
want to lose like millions of dollars, but
course,
we invite them. That allows your company, organization, business to grow. Because if people are afraid to make mistakes, that means they're not dreaming. They are not thinking of the end goal. They're not thinking big world, and you stay stagnant then. And the company suffers. If people aren't allowed to make mistakes or feel like they can, you won't grow.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem that businesses, organizations get into is they start kind of going insular and playing it safe too, which is, if you can think of like a business company as like a bigger system, but it resembles what happens internally for the single individual too. It's just bigger because that's what we do as humans a lot of time. We go insular, we shrink ourselves, we get small because we're like, I don't want to make the mistakes because of these fears.
Yeah.
The same thing with bigger companies.
Yeah, it's such an archaic way of thinking because that's just it's such an old school way of thinking, is like this dictatorship way of operation. It's completely ignoring the fact that the systems that are in place are doing the exact same thing. They're just not admitting their faults either. How we show up at work, we can quickly recognize when you make a mistake. Meaning, if I make a mistake or goof up, I say it out loud. I'm like, oops, that's on me. Let me also clarify too that like there's obviously layers of mistakes and seriousness of mistakes. We're talking about you make a simple mistake at work, no big deal. But I think if there's maybe something more at stake, it's going to trigger the imposter syndrome. It's going to trigger the shame a little bit more. And there's ways to work through this, but I think we're not sitting here talking about murder. That's not what we're talking about.
Right. Like you're driving down the road, somebody runs out, you accidentally hit them.
Yes.
That's an accident. And yes, that could be considered a mistake on your part. And that obviously, I think that's going to carry more shame, guilt on that person's part. I would feel absolutely terrible. I would feel shame. I should feel guilty. And I would also know, unfortunately, there's some natural consequences that happen. There are different charges, whether it was intent or not. And it is a possibility. But I also know like my record, my lack of no criminal record, and my character could probably save me from serious harm. And that those type of things, obviously, we're saying would be carrying a lot of weight. But these are kind of more of the everyday minimal things that they're small, really, relatively, but they take up so much space in our head because some of us, especially with anxiety, end up ruminating about them. It's just a constant replay. Oh my gosh, did I say the right thing? You're replaying a conversation from maybe yesterday during a work meeting. It's like, oh, was that okay what I said? Should I have said something different? And it's like, that stuff probably doesn't really matter today while you're ruminating about it all day long. And it's just stressing your whole system out.
Yeah, it's the all or nothing thinking, and it's that loop that our mind gets stuck on.
Yes.
And the don't should all over yourself. I still love that
I
one.
love
That's
that.
an
Don't
oldie,
shit
but
on yourself.
That's an oldie but goodie. Then we fall into the traps. It's like these are thinking traps of catastrophizing, meaning you make it so much worse in your head than it actually really was. And I always fall back on the stat that it's outdated, but it's something along the lines of like, people are not thinking about you for more than like 5 seconds. They're thinking about themselves. I'll never forget. Like, here's one that I was so embarrassed on. It was like February. I did an all-day retreat for my mindfulness class, and I forgot to put myself on mute for something. And I started, I don't know, I think it was like I was playing a meditation, but it was like something very loud when it was supposed to be quiet. And I was so embarrassed because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just totally busted when we're supposed
because
to,
they know your whole square lights up.
Exactly. And I was so embarrassed. And then I was like, you know what? All I could think was all eyes are on me. Everyone thinks I'm stupid. And I'm like, by the end of the day, I was able to let it go. It was hard.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I got over it quickly, but I was able to use these like tools to be like, okay, let's not beat ourselves up for more than a day. Like, you have a day, you can beat yourself up, you can get it out of your system. But like, know everyone out there listening, like, we all go through the same thing. I'm not saying this in a mean way, but you're not a special snowflake. Like, people are not out there thinking, but your mistake is the worst. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Your experience of how you end up thinking about that mistake is not necessarily very unique to you individually, because I will say every single human that I have worked with has the same issue when they mess up. We feel bad. And I think it's just so ingrained because it's just a social construct of humanity.
Yes.
And that we have to fit, because if you don't want to be othered, you don't want to be left out. It's kind of unwritten, but then it's also written, like, written when meaning like, there's laws that say don't make mistakes. Your religion says don't make mistakes. Family structures say don't do it. But then it's also just like this overall social construct. Like, this is what it's like to be part of a group.
And what the narrative should be, is like
Yes.
you're saying, is like the social construct should be, we all make mistakes. Mistakes are a part of life and how we learn from them and use it to grow. Because if you really, really think about it, it all roots, like what you're saying earlier really resonated with me, is like, it all roots to this, like, where we stand in the social circle. If you feel ousted because you made a mistake, then it's like complete ego death. And you're like, I can't do this. I'm like, oh, this is so hard. But we are so automatic because it's what we've done all our life. So if we think about this from like, we put a lot of time practicing mistakes being bad, that now we have to really undo that by practicing a different path, which is, you make a mistake, you're like, okay, this is not the end of the world. Like, for example, again, like this week I did something, it was minor. It was like I got something wrong at work and I just ruminated so much because it was more of like imposter syndrome came up for me, or, just like, that was a stupid mistake. Why? What could I have done different?
So essentially other people will be like, oh, well, Joy's not worthy of the position she's in. Right. She's not smart enough to do it.
Right.
She doesn't have the education to do it.
Right. Clearly, we made a mistake.
Choice. Yeah.
We made a mistake putting her in this position. Yeah.
I've heard these myself.
All of it. Yeah. And then I was like, you know what? Like, at the end of the day, I'm doing the best I can. So if I'm going to spend time beating myself up over this, I'm going to give myself a day. And I gave myself a day. And then I was like, tomorrow's a new day. You're literally going to do the best you can. The other thing that comes up, Rebecca, is like, we are all, I don't know why I do this. Well, maybe I know. You probably do this too, where I think like, well, everyone around me seems to know what they're doing. I don't perceive people as making mistakes.
No.
I'm the only one making mistakes. So when it's not visible, and that's why I try so hard to like verbalize my mistakes when I'm at work, because I want to normalize that conversation of like, that was on me. So when I don't see it, when you were saying earlier, like the work culture doesn't have this like constant narrative of, I'm not saying we have to sit there and have conversations 24/7 about the mistakes we make, but like in terms of just, it's not in my face of other people making mistakes. So then I think I'm the only one making mistakes because we think about ourselves 24/7. We're not thinking about other people.
Because nobody wants to talk about the mistakes. And I really think this is where companies get it wrong. Like, let's just even...
Where did I mess up and where can I grow?
Yeah, like, let's talk about growth opportunities. Like, what's going on? How are you feeling about your growth? Do you feel like you're able to grow here? What does that look like? Let's even look at a whole, like, what were some of the things the company at the top made? Not individual level, but like here in a meeting. Like, so this is, the company thought we were going to be able to get this funding, and we made a mistake because we were overly confident that we could get this funding from this one place, and that was a mistake on our part. Like, just normalize it. Like, company wide, there are mistakes that happen. And you don't have to like out the individual, but if it was just talked about, I think that would be much better. How would you help listeners on, they've made a mistake, maybe they're ruminating about it. And I want to say, like, the ruminating is like you're thinking about it over and over and over. Like, you just can't get the thought out of your head. You can also call it overthinking. What would you say to people? How do we stop that? Like, what do we do when we recognize, man, I'm shooting on myself, or I'm really being mean to myself about this mistake?
I just go back to the origin story. We all have the origin story of beliefs about ourselves. So the origin story for me was like, yeah, this is how mistakes were normalized in my world. So of course I'm going to feel this way. Have a little bit of that self-compassion where it's like, all right, in the grand scheme of things, the world didn't end. The sun rises and sets. I try to have a little bit of like counteracting some of that negative self-talk. So the natural reaction, because we're humans with a human brain, we're going to be negative. We're going to look for the threat. So even recognizing, oh, my brain is doing that thing that it does by recognizing the threat. I don't like the feeling I feel when I make a mistake. I just just doesn't feel good. Ew, icky. I would rather not have this human experience. So I kind of try to like talk myself through it. And I'm wondering if that's helpful for people too, of just like, sometimes we have to like do a little bit of like self-analysis after an incident to almost debrief with ourselves. We owe it to ourselves to like do a little debrief.
The debrief is important. I think that debriefing is important, but just like the self-awareness. And we've talked about this so many different times, like how important it is for self-awareness and like meaning, like knowing yourself, like what are your triggers? What gets you upset? How do you self-soothe? What are your coping skills? Like recognizing these things ahead of time, I think are really helpful, but the debrief is really key. And I'll share this. I had this experience recently with my personal therapist, and something was going to be coming up. I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. So we were talking about it, and I'm like, I know myself well enough that I can name it. And I think that's really important, naming it. Like I said, I'm going to have a lot of anxiety about this, and I'm going to ruminate the shit out of this for the next few days. I know that about myself. And then I'm going to be really hopeful that maybe that rumination decreases as the week continues. But then I was like, then I also can tell the therapist, like, I do know what my skills are, and I'm going to just be mindful of the rumination. I know it's going to happen. And I'm really going to try to set some limits on that. Like, I'm not going to allow myself to do this daily for the rest of this week.
Yeah, you kind of have to be your own advocate there.
Yeah. But like I do know I'm going to, I'm going to be spinning out for the next few days. Ended up that the event what occurred actually did not spin me out that much, because the fear and the anticipation was what I was already getting spun out about it, because I was like, this thing's coming. What is this going to say? And so the anticipation, I started getting this like anticipatory fear of anxiety building. Yeah. And it's like, it's not even here yet. Hello. Like, chill out. Yeah. Like, I have to remind myself this stuff.
Yeah. It's not going to ever completely go away. And I love what you said about like, sometimes even just narrating to ourselves of what you just did, which is like, this is what's going to happen for me. I know this about myself. And that's a beautiful thing to like know these things about yourself. Because here's the thing. We've said it a million times. We are never going to be free from hard things. We are just not. Life is going to continue to throw you down, kick you in the butt, and like,
it's going to body slam you.
It's going to body slam you.
It's like it the WWF, like back in the wrestling with chairs. Hulk Hogan's going to come smash you.
1,000. It's just going to keep happening, you guys. And I hate that about the human experience, because in my mind, I can do all the trickery too. That's like, how can I get to the point where I just don't have to deal with this anymore? Like, that's just never going to happen. I'm so sorry to tell you, but like,
when are we going to win this video game?
I know.
I mean, come on. How many levels do we have to repeat to get there? It's like Mario Brothers.
Gold coins at the end.
Yes, I'm collecting all the gold coins. Like, when am I going to be able to enjoy my gold coins?
Sit in my castle at the end. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it will continue to kick us in the butt. So if we can all just collectively be like, all right, like, let's hold hands across America. We can do this. Yes. Because you're not alone. And so I think that, like, as we remind ourselves, like, this is going to happen, walk yourself through it, narrate what's going to happen. Meaning, you said, Rebecca, I'm going to spin. I'm a spinner. I'm just going to
I've got the spin cycle down.
Yeah. And mine is a little bit spinny too. Like, I think a lot of us can relate to like spinning out of control, or my mind, your mind just kind of plays it on a loop, to where even sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night to let the dogs out, I'm like, it's there. That thought is there. And so it's like, okay, this is a great time to, if you've got a mindfulness practice or something where you can do the stop thought technique, to practice, because the automatic default mode is going to go to the spinning, right? So then we can say, all right, I'm going to let myself do that, and also know that mistakes are a part of life. This is where we grow. We are never going to be free from this discomfort. And in fact, what I try to do to kind of like really make sure that I'm just going all in, because I can't do anything half-ass, is when I feel discomfort, I'm like, do it. Go, like, dive in that pool. Just feel it.
Oh my gosh, I love that about you. How does that feel, just to dive into the ick? That seems scary.
It is, and interestingly enough, it diffuses it once you do it. Oh. And I'm not like trying to be a martyr here and being like, I have it figured out, but it's just like, it's for me, it's a signal, because I am very, very, I say this like I'm very hard on myself. We all are, right? Like duh. But I can be pretty harsh to myself. And so when I have that like ick feeling of like this week, for example, with the work stuff, I was like, yeah, just go there. Like let yourself feel all the things around how you feel disappointed. Let it wash over you instead of being like trying to do the thing where we fix.
Get out of it as fast as you can.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Where it's like, yeah, like let yourself just sit there. Like you said too, like it's kind of a version of what you said where you're like, I'm going to spin for a while. That is a way of leaning into that, because I didn't hear you say I'm going to try and stop that. You were saying
I'm going in.
Yeah, so you're right. Kind of doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing.
I was like, yeah, I'm in the whirlpool and I'm going to stay here, because maybe trying to get myself out of it, like ignoring it or trying to keep myself busy so I'm not thinking about it, it's trying to swim out of the whirlpool. It's just going to pull you back in. And so you're right. I just went into it, and I think it was diffusing it, because then I could be like, just let yourself do it. You're at a place in life and you have a healthier mindset than maybe you have ever had in your life, because you keep learning, and that this isn't going to last forever. I mean, that's the thing too. I think when you're in those spaces, you're like, I'm going to feel this way forever.
Right.
And it's like, that's not true. So then I had to use some reality-based thinking of like, I know what I'm doing. I am letting myself spin out about it because I just kind of need to get it out. I just need to do it. And then I'm going to be able to be like, this is just for this time period and it's not ending me. And I'm going to be, like when I was telling my therapist, it's like, I'm going to do it. And I will say to you that I know I can do hard things. I'm telling myself I can do hard things. And I also say I have had bad situations happen before and I've survived. I'll survive this. So I was able to say all the things that I needed to say, cause I already know that it's going to suck briefly, but that's okay.
And it brings up, like you said, you've done it before. You can do it again. And I always say that to clients is like, look at your track history, look at your track record, because you've done it before and you can do it again. And that's the narrative of like, we assume the worst. We think it's going to take us down, when the reality is it will not take us down. You will get through it. It just doesn't feel good. And we don't like things that don't feel good. And so if you kind of like continue to remind yourself of like, this is a part of the human experience. I am not different from anyone else. This is the great unifier. And it teaches us a lesson. And that's the hard part as well, is when these things come up, I go, this is going to make me better somehow, some way. I don't know. I don't like it, but I do know that I can learn a lesson from this. And sometimes it really kicks my butt to motivate me to be better. And I think some people, there's different personalities. Some can really take it down a path of like really beating yourself up horribly. And I beat myself up, and then I start to kind of be like, all right, how can I learn from this and be better? So you can build more emotional resilience from mistakes, meaning like the more you do it, the more you make mistakes, the better you get at it. And it's not a matter of like, I got to master this, but it's just more of like, I think I read some article of like, a guy wrote an article ages ago where he was like, every single day, like he was very bad at rejection. So every single day he went out in the world to like have someone tell him no, like purposely put himself in situations where people were rejecting him and saying no. And then he's like, and then I got better at it. So like with anything, you guys, with anything we talk about, exposure and practice is going to make you not master it, but just, it's not as scary. It like takes it down. It takes down that charge. It takes down the intensity of that feeling.
I think the thing also to remember is that mistakes happen and that they're proof of our human experience and that we're living and learning. If you don't have mistakes in your life, you're not living and learning.
It's true. That's like the one signal is like, and I guess the more maybe higher stakes or challenging things, or I think that's the thing that everyone hates too, is like being new at something, because then it means you're going to be faced with a lot of learning and mistakes.
Yeah. I just had this thought. It's like you're a toddler again, because toddlers make mistakes. Babies, they make mistakes all the time. That's what they're doing, making mistakes.
They're learning.
But that's learning, right? And so the same thing, when you're a newbie, you're a toddler again. Mm-hmm. And we hate it because we know we're going to make mistakes, and we have this past history that mistakes suck and they feel terrible and we don't want to do it. But you're not growing if you don't make them, because that means you're not learning.
Yeah. So the other thing is, I understand that a lot of this also has to do with feeling safety. my hope is that you can surround yourself with people who make it safe to make mistakes, who create a workspace that make it safe to make mistakes. It's not to say that you're not going to have hard conversations, but it's just more around how we're building up our resilience to these conversations or these instances where we're like, wow, that I learned so much from that. It really sucked. I got through it. When we master these things and when we go through it, that's what builds confidence. So it's like,
yes,
that cliche bullcrap that I hate, but it's true, which is like the magic is in the mess. And so you're like, you know, really becoming more of a human and more compassionate for others. Like that's the other thing we forget. Like we are so focused on ourselves that really when you look at it, I'm laughing because I want to give you an example of what happened this week. You have a little bit more of a compassion for yourselves. Like I think we've kind of lost that, especially with social media. But Rebecca, do you have like a neighborhood Facebook page that you're in?
Yeah,
or
like next door.
Yeah, it's like something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have one of those in my neighborhood, right? And every once in a while, someone will post a photo of someone's like doorbell camera from like, oh, animals, or oh, we caught this on our camera.
Yep.
Well, there seems to be this growing trend that I am horribly against of public shaming humans. So, for example, they took a screenshot of a woman walking her dog in front of their house, and it was a little tiny dog.
I knew you were going to say it was about dog poop.
Yep. And apparently this dog had pooped in their driveway, and the lady was trying to rush off, and someone posted and said, this piece of work let their dog poop on my driveway, and how dare you, and pick up after your dog. And then everyone just piled on and was like, oh, that dog needs a new owner, and I went in and I was like, you know what? Because I was like, do you understand how many times that's happened to me before? And I am horrified.
Yeah.
I know I've talked about this before on the podcast where I'm like one time Leela had like diarrhea on someone's lawn and I couldn't pick it all up because you can't pick up diarrhea.
Or they have diarrhea on the sidewalk.
Yes.
And
so,
oh,
and I was like mortified because I was like, you know, so I went into I never go into the comments. I know I shouldn't have done this, but I just couldn't help it because public shaming like that is so rude. I think it's just such a poor decision to public shame someone by posting their photo from your Ring camera, unless you're trying to catch a criminal. Like this lady was just making an honest mistake. She probably forgot a dog bag, or maybe she ran out because her dog had already gone like 10 times. We don't know. And then, so I basically was saying like what I just told you, which I was like, hey, maybe they forgot a dog bag. Like, I think public shaming feels like a lot. And I just want people to be a little more kinder in this neighborhood and, you know, whatever. I said my piece. Who cares? I mean, people take it or leave it. But it's just, I think in terms of like, this also gives us a little bit of room to be like, I've made that mistake before. We're all human. Like, nobody's perfect here. Could she have gone back and picked it up later? Sure. Maybe she has small children at home and she can't leave the house. Like, you just don't know, you know? So just assume positive intent and make it a safe space to make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. I get in my neighborhood, this is a little off topic, but there are public shaming people that actually picked up the dog poop in the bag, but put it in their trash can because now their trash can stinks like dog shit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, it's a trash can.
Win.
I mean, honestly, I would rather you put it in there than not pick it up.
Yeah.
Like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
People are just so...
Yeah, people, the thing with neighbors and neighborhoods is like with that social media comes a lot of different opinions and things that we're like, wow, I never really knew that about my neighbors and I don't really care to know this much about people anymore. I just want to know about the people that I like. But, you know, at the end of the day, it is like having a little bit of compassion. Are we all going to be perfect? No. Are our dogs going to poop on sidewalks every once in a while? They are.
Yeah. I mean, is your kid going to poop on somebody's sidewalk? Possibly. I mean, it's just not a dog problem.
Your kid's going to poop in the pool.
Your cat that's an indoor-outdoor cat, I'm sure it's pooping and peeing in somebody's bushes.
It sure is. And you know what? This like makes me think of like, I'm so glad I'm Gen X because we grew up with like so much freedom. Like we did not have to worry about cameras catching us. And like,
we may have pooped behind somebody's bush because we had to go really bad.
When kids pooped in the pool, like it wasn't posted all over social media.
Oh my God. Whoops, we got a floater.
And then they had to evacuate everyone because it's like
it's a biohazard now. I mean, shit, you know, like when you get really excited, sometimes you got to poop and it just happens.
Oh, I love it. So, well, on that note, we hope you are just embracing the imperfect mistakes. Human that you are. Because let me tell you, Rebecca, I like to think that I'm perfect. It's hard. You like to think you're perfect.
You are pretty perfect. I think you are. Fun fact,
Dude,
my mother-in-law...
You can't say that about me.
Well, my mother-in-law who has Alzheimer's. We've talked about it before. Conversations with her are somewhat difficult on the phone, but every time she's calling over here, she asks, how's her perfect granddogs? And how are the perfect people that live in the perfect house? And we're just so perfect. I have to get to hear how perfect I am all the time.
What, Rebecca, you are pretty perfect too. So maybe you and I are perfect, and we're just
no. It's just like it's
far
just
from
a funny
it. Yeah,
thing.
I love that. I really love that. Well, listeners, we think
Yes.
you're pretty perfect, and we're just doing the
Yeah.
best we can. So
We
go
are
out
here.
there, make mistakes, learn,
Poop in
live,
pools.
poop in the
Or
pool.
don't
It's
poop,
okay.
poop behind a bush, whatever you need to do.
Don't worry if you get public shamed on a Facebook post. I know my day's coming. It's just going to be a matter of time until I show up on that Facebook page. I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for my turn. But we
Yeah.
love you guys so much. You can find us at Laugh Cry Club on social media. You can email us laughcryclub@gmail.com if you have any suggestions or things you want us to talk about. We're just so grateful that you've spent time with us today. And if you want to support the show, a free, easy way to do it is to share with a friend. Just hit the share button on any podcast app you're listening on, and also leave us a rating and review. That helps us out a ton. So until next time, we love you so much.
All right, bye.
Bye.